Yeah.
We're ready.
Okay, all right. Welcome, everybody. We're going to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. Marlo Herrick, Chair.
Ben Nader.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Ben Nader.
We're going to start off with the meeting rules and procedures. You know, if you have something to say, you know, just try not to interrupt. Put your hand up and we'll try to get to you as soon as possible. Any announcements?
I have no announcements.
Oh, no announcements. All right, moving on. Appointments, cemetery trustees.
I was going to ask you to meet Mr. Bodett.
Oh, that's right, we
If
did
you
talk
would,
about
yes, and
that.
I'm
Sure.
sorry.
Honestly, I'm here for as long as you need me, so do what you
Okay.
gotta do. I can be low on
We'll,
priority.
we'll start with you and then, then we can go on to that. So, yeah, so welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you wanted to come
Yeah.
up and
Come
tell
right
a little
up,
bit
Mr.
about
Bodett.
yourself?
Have a seat in the hot seat over there.
As I always say, come on down.
Russ has spoken with Mr. Bodett and has asked him if he'd be willing to serve on the zoning board.
Okay.
And I don't know if you want to say anything more, Russ, on that.
He's newly in town. He was building a house on Clothespin Bridge Road, currently renting while the house is being built in town, and has come before the board before, so he's familiar with the procedures and familiar with the board, and I think he'd be a good fit.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was in Wyndham, we owned the property there for 14 years, but we lived in there full-time for 8. And was not involved in town government, but again, same thing, because we were building and stuff, dealing with, ZBA and variances and so on and so forth, and, figured, at this stage of my life, have a little bit more free time, and, can try to be more available for something like this, so, yeah, I'm on board.
Couple questions.
Yeah,
Being new to town.
yep.
Is there certain things that you look for in some of the rules that you feel are not there now? Or is there certain things that you think that you would like for changes? I mean, sometimes I look to see, not that I'm saying you're doing this,
Yeah.
but you sit on something, you may have your thoughts on some things that you may want to adjust with maybe your knowledge, or maybe partly being doing this before. So I guess I like to, just like somebody might ask me, why did I ever become a selectman? Quite frankly, and here I am. Wow, I didn't have any prerequisites, and I'm not saying that you do, but I think that's good for us to know, because at times, we don't know.
Sure, I'll give you a little bit of my.
And we are asked to say, are you a good fit? I haven't got a clue.
Right. So I
Except for us.
born in New Hampshire, born in Manchester at 12, moved to Salem, lived on Canopy Lake. Had a commercial photo studio in downtown Manchester, but knew that what I wanted to do wasn't gonna happen, especially in 1990 in New Hampshire, very small market. So what I wanted to do required me to be somewhere else. Moved to Miami, but always loved New Hampshire. Kids, not a great place to have summer vacation when it's 104 degrees outside, so we bought a vacation house on Cottage Pond in Wyndham and have been coming. Kids fell in love, they graduated, they stayed in New Hampshire. And so my wife and I, moved and built a house across from our vacation house in Wyndham. But Wyndham's changed, and so have we. We're looking for something a lot smaller, a lot quieter. Wyndham's development went crazy. Trees are clear cut everywhere, medical arts buildings, retail, housing. You can't go down the main road, it's bumper to bumper traffic 24/7. And so we just, at this stage of our life, we were looking for something that was quiet, and not trafficy, and more about nature, and that's when we found this lot. We just fell in love, and we started coming. We just started building in November. We broke ground, but we bought the place, found the place in May, And we would come up every weekend just to sort of explore the area. So we're fans. We like it here. But this is kind of, you know, this is what we were looking for. We didn't just land here, we looked for months. We went everywhere, and there were lots of beautiful places, but, you know, I can't also be an hour from a hospital or, you know, an hour and 15 minutes from a grocery store.
Well, that's true, yeah.
You know, but you still want quiet, you still want peaceful, you still want nature, and, you know, this is it, you know, so that's how I landed here.
So Brenda asked a great question. You saved me a lot of questions because I appreciate your answer, because I would never live south of Concord.
For that reason.
Preferably nothing. For the same reasons you say, you know, and being Webster, being a small town, what we don't want to do is have this. Many of the things you talked about. And there are other folks that usually attend these meetings that probably speak to it a lot better and a lot directer than I do. But I think if you can appreciate that and realize we want to keep distance, we don't want low-income housing in inappropriate locations. Communities need low-income housing, but there are locations in town where we would point it to if we needed it, not on your doorstep. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you can appreciate those things, as many of the people in the audience do, as I do, I think you'd be a good fit. And I appreciate you bringing to our attention how you felt about where you live and why you needed to get out of there. Because I agree with you, I couldn't be down there.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that growing up.
Nope.
You know, and it wasn't even like that 15 years ago.
Nope.
You know, it happened fast. It was, you know, I mean, I almost woke up 2 years ago.
Well, Kelly Ayotte makes a statement, we're massing up New Hampshire, and unfortunately, the southern tier has been massed up badly, so.
Yeah.
Excuse me for saying that,
Yeah.
but she's true.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, there used to be the Wyndham Country Store.
Yep.
You know, and now it's a gas station and a McDonald's, and, you know, this is more, the fact that I can drive in any direction and get eggs or sourdough bread in somebody's front yard is more what we're looking for than.
Webster's a hidden community,
Yeah.
and we've talked about it here, and we've talked about it on the zoning board, you're gonna go on. A lot of people move up here to get away from all of that, but we don't wanna over-capitalize on the beauty of what we have, if that makes sense.
And my understanding, because I had to come for a variance for a setback, and, that, I think you only issue 18 building permits a year, so you can't grow more than that. And again, don't make get the numbers wrong, only 4 building permits to like a single entity, whether it be, you know, so that you don't have a developer coming in and buying 100 acres and putting in 30 houses, you know, and plus the minimum building lot sizes are pretty large too, so.
No, I think
it-
Marlo's question was good, and
Yeah.
I think you did a nice job
Yeah,
answering.
thank you.
Do you have anything you'd like
I
to
don't.
add?
It's always nice to hear the motivations for why people want to get involved, and I just love the fact that people want to get involved. We don't have enough of that in town, as far as I'm concerned. So it's nice to have people
Yeah.
stepping up and wanting to take part.
Thank you. I'm self-employed when I'm not, I'm an advertising photographer. I specialize in travel. So when I'm working, I'm gone. And that happens, you know, I have no control over that. So that's one thing that I did say was, you know, I can't guarantee when there's a meeting I'm gonna be here, but most of the time, I'm sitting in my office. So, you know, I do have a lot of time to, you know, to be available. That's why I like to help if I can too, so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and I guess I also wanna make it clear, I agree with a lot of these guys saying, and John said. At the same token, I wanna make it clear that also, you know, there's some give and take. We live in New Hampshire, lots that like this, or lots like that, or, you know what I mean? So that's where your job becomes important, because, yeah, there's gonna make some decisions sometimes. So a family member's child might be able to live on that lot and make a few exceptions. So there is that too to always keep in mind, and as you said, I don't want somebody changing our nice, lovely community, but I also don't want it to be so tight and strangulation,
Understood.
you know,
Yeah,
so.
the whole, you know, as long as it's not like the NIMBY, right? Like, if the only reason is it's just not my backyard.
Yes.
It's not negatively impacting anything, and
Exactly.
kind of be at least open to it.
Exactly, all right, great. Well, I appreciate, do you have any questions for us?
No, not
All
at
right,
all.
well, thank you
Yeah.
again, and, yeah,
So if we
perfect,
could have a
welcome.
motion from the board, please.
I'll make a motion, this gentleman be appointed to the zoning board, and look forward to second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If I could get you to sign the bottom here. And Steve, that they're signing the oath of office, which Mary Welch will give to you, the town clerk.
Okay,
She's there Mondays and Wednesdays.
She's
Okay.
down there right now, if
Yeah.
you just wanted to go down and get sworn
you
in.
want me to just bring it down there now?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
what
and
I-
I'll
Yeah,
scoop
you
that.
could.
You could. Get you started.
Yeah, don't say anything fun while I'm gone.
That's right.
Go right to him.
Does it-
Mary will fill the rest out.
Okay,
All right,
perfect.
all right.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank
I'll be
you.
back.
Thank you.
And welcome to town.
Thank
Even though
you.
it's been almost a year. All right, now the cemetery trustees, you guys wanna come on down?
Similarities, I see.
Yeah, right. You don't think they're related? Hi, guys. So, yeah, chat with us.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure
Move on
things
in.
out.
Well, we appreciate you
Piecing
guys
things
stepping up, that's
together.
awesome.
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through and organize, the stuff we have. And, yeah, trying to put some stuff on the computer, figure out what other towns are doing, and, trying to get familiar with all of the cemeteries and figure out, maybe make some sort of actual like list, database of what all the lots are, how many lots we have, how many are empty, how big they are, so got some projects in mind, but,
I'm working on it.
yeah,
That would be quite a step forward.
yeah,
And you asked me about the Adobe thing.
Yeah.
Talk to me and we can
yeah,
deal with that. And I don't wanna tell you where you're going next, but I wanted to ask you about the cemetery contract. And we certainly can work on that further if you're not ready for that.
I don't know if you guys had anything, I was fine with it. The only thing I thought might be added is, we have mowed the undeveloped piece of the back half of, Corsair Hill Cemetery at least once a year, which it's usually not done until the end of the year. I didn't know if maybe say twice a year, so like halfway through the season and then at the end of the year, cause it does get pretty, overgrown, but,
Why don't you just let me know what that is, and so I
Yeah.
remember it.
okay, yeah,
And,
that was like my
yeah.
only edit.
Yeah.
I think everything else that we have there, is good and reasonable, yeah.
I don't mean to jump in.
No, please
with you,
do.
Marlo, but the other thing we were gonna talk about was, fees, cemetery fees.
Yeah, so currently, our fee is $250 for a lot. I think 50 for administration and 200 for maintenance.
Right.
So I've done a little bit of research trying to see what the cost is, for.
Surrounding towns.
Yeah, the surrounding towns. Warner is $250, Bosquen is, 300, so, let's see, what else? Yeah, I don't know, I think our rates are pretty reasonable. The only thing is with the different size lots, maybe that we, do different fees, like tiered fees, pricing.
Explain a little bit about that, what do you mean?
So we have like 3 different lot sizes that I'm aware of. 2 grave is a 10x9, 4 grave is 10x14, and a 6 grave is a 10x20. And so, maybe 2 grave is $250, and then like going up from there or something. I haven't had too much luck figuring out like what other towns do for lot sizes. The only one that was like kinda helpful is Andover. Their 4x10, yeah, their lots are a lot smaller. They have a 4x10 feet lot for 300. A 7x10 is 600. So, yeah, that's all I've kind of found now. The other thing that I found is there is a New Hampshire Cemetery Committee or
Association, I think. Yeah,
association
yeah.
That I think might be helpful to us if we join that. It's like $20 for an associate member.
You have a little bit of a budget, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did have some of the rules and regulations for some of their towns on their website, but it's like more southern New Hampshire, not around here, so. So I thought that, if we joined the cemetery association, maybe they'd have some, be helpful, and provide some input, or at least some resources to try to figure
They
things out.
might be able to give you some guidance on how you come up with,
Right.
I mean, I don't know how you come up with costs for cemetery lots.
Yeah.
But if you have these big lots, then certainly. you know,
Right.
Yeah.
That-
Well, and, you know, as you map out, unfortunately, if we put your business hat on for a minute, you map out the space, and then you know, okay, we can have this many big lots and this many smaller lots.
Right.
Or maybe a lot, or maybe you're gonna buy two of the two smaller lots, you know, to cover your costs is really what's important, right? I mean, you're not in it to, you know, we don't want the cemetery committee to, they're not there to be rich.
Right. Like,
So-
yeah, I mean, 'cause
Just your expenses have gotta be covered.
yeah, $200 goes towards like the maintenance. I
Yeah.
think.
We didn't know how that really worked, but I found a letter from 2013 that talked about the lot is $250 and the town keeps $50 for the administrative work of making the deed. The rest in the past has gone into a trust fund that the cemetery has. And we
The
did use
improvement
that trust fund.
Yeah.
I think it was the year before last, to have a lot of the monuments repaired. As well as probably some trees.
I was gonna say
removed.
tree removal,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it kind of is gonna come from what you guys see from what, you know, we spend and what you may need to
right.
Yeah.
keep it, like you just said, maybe mow something a second time, so that, you know, that'll be a little bit more money than it usually is, but probably a good place to put it.
Right, yeah, so.
If you're looking at me, I think probably the fee could be raised, so we could.
It's been the same since 2013, then that's probably a
Yeah, I
possibility.
think, you know, I
certainly
think,
there.
you're right, I mean, you gotta do some research, but I think two fifty's pretty reasonably low.
Mhm.
And, you know, in talking to, let's go back, in talking to Brenda, who had some sound reasonableness as to where everything was, she was definitely gonna be promoting, at least in our discussion, you know, the costs that she exhibited to us were getting, you know.
Like
what I'm saying?
everything is, yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, everything's
Yeah.
going
Right.
up, so we're gonna do
Yeah.
kind of the same.
Were there rules for the cemetery? Brenda had told me that you need to be a Webster resident.
Yes.
For people that are dying to get in.
There are some rules, they're very vague, and not in, not, I don't know, I think they could be clearer and more precise, so I've started looking at them, what we currently have for rules, and trying to make them more specific, look at what other towns have for rules, and kind of put together a new thing, cause she had like a rules and regulation sheet, but it was more like an application.
Mhm.
So, and even the application, like, could have been more specific, like, what cemetery was the application for what size was the lot, how many people were gonna be buried there, were they gonna be caskets or cremations or unknown, so,
Just to help plan. a
yeah,
little bit.
just.
That's all, I mean, really.
So all the questions I have about what things are, I'm trying to make a new, like, application and rules and regulations to get a cemetery deed. So,
I think joining the New Hampshire Cemetery Association will help you out a lot.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think things need to be a little bit more specific, when it comes to the rules and regulations and like the application to get a deed.
She had it all down, so you could ask a question and get an answer, but,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I'm respectfully, I say that,
Yeah, I mean, there's like, it says, you're required to put 4 cornerstones in your marked grave lot, but it doesn't give a time frame. So there's several grave lots that people have purchased that don't have cornerstones.
So going through that, having purchased a lot last
Right.
year, that begins at $685. So that's why on the other end of that, and that's talking to a local vendor, which I won't mention, very respectable vendor, but when I mention that expense for buying a lot, and you've got that on top of
Right.
it, plus, as you probably know, plus more, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it can get very expensive.
Yeah, so we have to, like, just trying to, give people more specifics of, okay, what's a cornerstone? This, a 6x6, you know, just what I've seen on other towns' websites, to try to make things a little bit easier for everyone, I think. So,
Dave, did you have a question?
Yeah, just when you're looking at the fees and such, there's a couple things that I've seen in different areas to keep in mind, that not all fees are the same as what the name of the fee is to another town. Is there's the price for the plot, but
Right.
then, as John said, there's different things for the plot, like cornerstones, headstones. Some things like a cornerstone may be included in some places and may not be included in other places. And we also, as far as I know, don't have a lot of additional fees, whereas some of the other municipalities have a yearly maintenance fee. They have a yearly shrub pruning fee. They have a fee for doing the open and close of the grave that is also additional and larger in the winter. So for example, if the snow needs to be cleared for the service to happen, that happens. They have all the different sizes, so you can get a very small plot inexpensively if all you want to do is put a cremation urn in it with a headstone. But if you need larger than that, you're then looking at more, and then there's a discount if it's a companion fee for adding the second grave space next to the first. So all of these are things that I would encourage you to look into, because it's not as straightforward as it maybe used to be.
Yeah, what I found so far, like, the town of Boston, they have, their lots are $300, $600. $300 is to the town, and $300 is the cornerstone markers. And they have, their fees are pretty laid out, like how much it costs for burials. Andover's, has maintenance fund, town registration. What else did I find? So the ones I've looked at so far, the fees are specific to like how much is for what. I haven't seen any that have charged any additional fees, but I've just been looking. Warner, Bradford, Andover, Hopkinton, I didn't find anything on their website. So some don't have anything and some do, so,
But that's what you're trying to figure out
Yeah.
now. Yeah,
but
yeah.
what I found so far is like, they have been separated out. It's not just like, oh, it's
Right.
$1 amount. They say, okay, this is much is for this and this much is for this.
You get a lot of research done.
Yeah.
It's-
So, yeah, no, I'm definitely, like I said, I think the cemetery, association would definitely
Yeah.
help.
And they might recommend, I don't know, I'm sure there's computer programs, whether that's something that's worthwhile for you or not, but, it's, you know, make record keeping probably easier.
Yeah, I did look at that. There are some programs out there that will, like, for the mapping of the cemeteries and stuff, but I don't know if that's like.
And I don't think you
Yes.
have a lot of sales all the time.
No, I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
so. Like I found too that you can, like, there's a tutorial on how to use like an Excel spreadsheet to make, you know, plot like the map. So there's some things out there, that I found. But, yeah, so I'm just, yeah, trying to do some research and figure things out for now, and then, once I have a better idea of things, come back to you guys with what I've found and.
That'd be
go from there.
awesome. Perfect.
Do you need anything from us?
I don't think so. Yeah,
Brenda was very helpful back during Christmas time. So this would be a discussion we have as we know. She got a lot to do. But very helpful with keeping the cemetery up here on the hill open and worked with her to do that. I see that got open this weekend.
yeah, we opened it actually last weekend.
I didn't know if you had the key. I have one of the keys to that if you want. So.
Yeah, we've,
Because
found
of
keys.
Easter being so.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I watched, and the reason, she was very good, because I watched, they closed it early, and we talked about it here.
Yeah.
David, of course, was on the board at the time. And she was very helpful. I helped her put a chain in there so people could get in,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, but not vehicles or other things that shouldn't be in it.
Yeah.
And she's very good about that, and she wanted to talk more about that as we got. I didn't know if you had the keys. I've got one of the keys here.
Yeah, we
okay,
found
great.
the
Okay,
keys,
so hang on to the chains and all that.
Yeah, I got them out. My
Yeah, great.
I took them off, we took them off, we opened it up, the weekend before last, and I was like, I'm just gonna take them
I
off.
think I think it was a
so
great
that-
idea.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But
And
Chris-
just the one side is open now, cause the other side's still a little bit wet.
Right.
So,
No,
and
that's
then we were
great.
there Saturday morning, you know, some people came in, drove in and, you know, visited their.
Christmas time, a lot of people try to
They're
put
picking
leaves.
the Christmas stuff
Yep,
up,
yep.
the
Yeah.
holidays.
I watched the kid get caught on top of the fence at Christmas time. She and I talked about it. They came up from New Jersey, family, 3 cars,
Oh, jeez.
and she and I, when we took, you know, she went up with me and I helped her take care of it. But what I'm saying is that, you know, as we move down the road, those are things to
Yep,
consider. You know, if you're not passing down, you too, see
okay.
the other key.
Yeah, we'll add that to
The
one.
key,
Yep.
the keys, but yeah, you know, she was concerned.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Brenda had spoken about the poison ivy and her hope that it would be eradicated.
Yeah,
and-
so.
Did you give me this?
I found the contract
Yeah.
for, the Spellback Landscape Company and her, stuff. So, it doesn't look like anything was ever signed or completely
No, it
done.
was- It was for this budget year,
Mhm.
and the budget was considered for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, I'm gonna talk to my cousin Amy to see about, see if there's any emails, and not Brenda's email, cause it went to hers,
Mhm.
from this, person, and then contact them to see about, like, I'm sure probably the fee has changed.
Yeah.
What the fee was, cause this was for Corso Hill Cemetery.
Yeah.
And, yeah, kinda go from there. And, yeah, I'll see what
I
the fee
can't imagine
is.
a worse job.
Well, as long as
Well,
it doesn't
weed
jump onto
whacker.
you.
It would.
It was, yeah, poison ivy and invasive, species control.
Yeah.
Looked pretty reasonable on the contract.
Yeah, it was $2,300.
Yeah.
But this was from September, so, so,
They need to
yeah.
probably update it or something.
Yeah, so I'll see if I can get updated information, and then I can let you know.
Mhm. Okay.
So, so we could get that done at least. Cause I think it was like 2 treatments. So,
Yeah, that
yeah,
sounds, that
May
sounds, that
and
sounds
August,
reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I'll see about trying to get an update on that, so we can.
When you're ready to suggest new fees, because we're going to be looking at our fees,
Mhm.
and we'd like to do it all at once, so
Okay.
that we only need to have one public hearing. And I don't know if you have when you plan to do that, but within the next month and a half, and.
Okay. Yeah, that should be good. I'll do this, cemetery application so we can get in contact with them. Yeah, the association, so that hopefully they can give me some good information.
Yeah, you can email it to me and I'll send it in, or bring
Okay.
it in, or whatever you want.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, no, I can do that.
Awesome. We thank you guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
Piecing it together?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do all the computer stuff, that's my specialty. Trying to keep things organized and find all the information, so,
That's why they keep you around, honey.
yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Some old business, iPad estimates. That's, I think, you are, do you have that?
Yes, I do. You want to speak to it?
So this is what the board had asked for,
Yeah, good seeing you
Wow.
guys.
the iPads, so that you can get off using your personal equipment as
Yep.
opposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we had time.
All right, so we need a motion on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion, we proceed with this for our 3 board members, so we're not using personal equipment for town business.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'm sorry that I skipped all the department heads. So, come on down. Apparently my eyes got ahead of me.
It's all good.
Yes, Dick?
What was the price per iPad?
Price per iPad was, am I correct here, $436 per iPad?
Inside of the-
Sounds reasonable, doesn't it?
You know, okay, so,
Hi, Chief. I haven't seen you. Where have you been hiding? I know.
Hello.
I missed
As you
you.
guys decide who goes first, go for it.
I missed you at the meeting yesterday morning.
Because I was on the road.
Well, you guys can do that later. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's get on with it.
She wants out of here.
No, I wanna listen, I wanna listen.
So, budget. Last financial report on 3/26, we used $96,169.86 out of our 2026 budget. 75.10% remaining, so we're in good shape. From March 1st to the 31st, only 17 motor vehicle stops, 1 summons, $93. Traffic has slowed down considerably, running more radar, that's why, I believe, so now they're paying attention to us sitting out there. The officers have only handled 42 calls, typical calls for the month, a lot less than we usually have. Civil matters, department information received, found property, motor vehicle complaints, residential burglar alarms, road hazards, suspicious activity reported, we've had a few of those. Assist the citizens, assist the fire department and EMS, assist other agencies, disturbance reported, animal complaints, identity fraud, and conduct after an accident. 2 of them, I guess. We received a federal grant for speed control, so we'll be using that to really slow them down. Another one was signed for the new laptops and the cruisers. We're waiting for the Attorney General's office to sign off. He's the last one to sign off. New Hampshire State Police has actually got the overall grant. They already signed off on it, so we just gotta wait for the AG's office to sign off. We submitted another grant for body cameras and cruiser cameras and tasers. That's in the works. Hopefully we'll know by the end of the month or first of next month on whether we got it, but I think they've been signing everybody, so I think we'll be pretty good with them.
Steve, do these grants require you to pay for the equipment and then get reimbursed? Is that how?
So, the speed grant doesn't.
No.
The laptop grant, we need to pay for ahead of time,
So,
and then we get reimbursed for it. The body cameras and tasers, we're gonna pay out of the contingency fund that we have for the police department, the one that we use for the cruisers, because that's where that's where
Oh, the
they're going.
revolving fund?
The revolving
Yeah.
fund, so we should be able, to because it's an 80-20 match,
Mhm.
so we only have to come up with 20% of it, which is, I think, around $8,000. So hopefully that'll take care of everything, so there'll be no cost at all to the town.
And that's the body cameras and the tasers?
Yes,
Nice.
How about the radar trailer? Where are we standing with that?
still haven't got a word on when they're gonna come repair it.
Who are we talking to?
The only company that does repair it,
Okay,
they're
but
the
we've
only
been,
ones that repair their own.
we've been a distance on that, so I'd appreciate it if you could.
I got a price on the small speed signs. Yeah, we probably won't be going with them. They want $3,000 a piece is the cheapest price I got for one of those little speed signs.
Do we have grant availability for
Not
those?
for those yet.
Okay, well, I'm not necessarily pushing speed signs, but I'd like to see that rate, you have been successful with the radar trailer,
We have
and
been.
we've been talking for a year to get it fixed.
So it was stuck inside for the
Yeah.
winter. But we've called them a number of times. We're waiting for them to get a hold of us on, I don't know if it's the only company that does it, because we only call the company that built them. They're the ones that repaired it the
Yeah,
last time.
well, that's logical, I get that.
It's easy for them to do it.
Okay, that was, how about the tower, talking the cell tower? Phil's been working on that, and I still haven't,
He's been trying to get a hold of Verizon, they can come up with something on whether we can put it up there or not. They want a fee. They haven't come up with a fee yet,
Right.
but they want to get paid. They
Well-
won't do it for nothing.
I think that's a discussion we all need to have with them, you know?
Because the town allowed them to put it there.
Point made,
Um,
and
So I guess the best thing would be, I'd say let's have them come to one of the
I agree,
meetings.
no, but it can, Phil's been working on it, so I don't wanna.
Yep,
If he can, you can speak to him about getting them. to
we'll
do
see if we
this.
can get somebody to come to
We got thousands of dollars in new radios.
the next meeting.
Yeah, if we could, that'd be appreciated.
To get him here's another story.
Well, that's true
Even,
too.
even to get him to answer the phone when Phil's
Well-
been trying to talk to him, then another. Look at Russell, how long did you deal with him and they
I
didn't?
tried for 2 years.
2 years to get them, just
Well-
when they were putting it in, and they wanted to be here, and they still wouldn't show
I
up.
publicly announced how much better my cell phone worked, and I don't know why, so, and everybody else's too, so. But if you could do that, I'd appreciate it.
I certainly would.
Thanks, and we talked about that the other morning.
Yep.
I know that's a John Clark bugbear, but I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, it'd be nice.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I know that talking to Bell Electronics, when they programmed our radios in the fire trucks there the other day, and did the ones at the cop shop, they did a lot of repeater work and stuff for HR Clough and a lot of the private businesses. And, they ran them off, they put the price up so high that they're gone. There's nobody up there now but the cell.
Well, the other question is, what do we know about the land? I'm being told the land is under government ownership, or the land is being, do we know that, or is it been
No,
sold?
the land, I mean,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I'm asking,
but, according to Eric, Dad, Bob Lake, Eric's dad, sold that to whoever owns the tower now.
Okay.
They own the land in the tower, and that's why the driveway was plowed all went along and not, without
Right.
anybody being there, because they have a right of way to get to the tower.
But you don't know who that is.
I don't know, I think it's US Cellular.
Okay.
Must be on the tax map.
Yeah,
It
I think
is.
you're right.
Well, anything conglomerately you can do to get them here.
American Tower.
Yeah, I'll see if I get
The
that
American
information.
Tower, yeah.
I think it's
And then they
US.
lease to,
Was it? Yeah.
yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Emmett might be totally correct, it might, you know, we're sort of in the, we don't know area, but,
Yeah, but
Then
it
we're
would be
gonna have to do
awesome.
something.
It would be great.
yep.
That's all I got.
Well, thank you.
How about hirings?
Got 3 possibilities, only 1 certified. 2 are uncertified. And I'd rather push for a certified guy.
And how's that looking for the certified person?
He hasn't come in yet, we're trying to
That
get
doesn't
him
look
to come
too
in,
good.
but he's working for another department, so he's gotta find the time to come in. We'd rather go with a certified guy. If I hire an uncertified person, it's a year before he's on the road.
No, I fully
You know,
understand,
it's,
yeah.
it's a year before he's on the road, so that's a year of our time gone.
And we've got advertising out there.
We'll get advertising on there, and right now we're doing word of mouth. We wanna get somebody local if we can find somebody.
Well, that makes sense
And
too, yeah.
As much as they jump and ship everywhere, I'm hoping that I can get somebody.
No, I
Come
totally
on.
understand the whole situation. It's
Hard.
very frustrating.
It is.
In a lot of the young people that I've been talking to have been in it 3 or 4 years, and they're jumping ship. They don't want no part of it.
Yeah.
Sad. I
Well,
mean-
fire departments are going through the same thing.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
We are. Everywhere. Are you
Thanks.
done?
I'm done.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. So I'll start at the firehouse. We're at 68 calls of service to date. Medical calls, trees down, responded to the building fire when the town sheds burnt over to Warner the other night with a crew and worked over there with them folks. And then more medical calls and, motor vehicle accident. Battle Street the other afternoon. Trainings on Wednesday nights. The 30 MSA bottles will be going, they're gonna be coming to hydro test them because their 5-year span is up. And Cascade system will be all gone through and inspected here within the next month. That's all been set up. The air has to be tested and all that, and the oils and stuff and the compressors. And then after the bottles are all tested, then they'll come and do the yearly inspection on the 15 MSA, the packs. So that's all in line to be done. Huckleberry spent 1 whole day down there, replacing a bunch of parts in one of the furnaces, and then serviced the other 3, and then they needed to get parts for them. So they came back, and what, are they gonna come back one more time?
One more time.
For
They didn't have the
something
right
that
parts.
they didn't have, so, and then that will be behind us. So, other than that, the calls are getting taken care of. Working well with the Hopkinton ambulance.
How about your new young man that you presented to us verbally last meeting? The young man is currently going for his paramedic and his EMT and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, where's that stand? Is he?
Yeah, he just he's, him and his, significant other or friend are, renting an apartment in Concord, and they're moving. There's no place.
Okay, so he's gone. So
Yeah.
he seemed pretty,
Oh, awesome young man,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
impressive.
no, I mean, you hate to see it go, but, I mean, how long are you gonna live with mom and dad, you know?
well, see, I didn't realize he was living with mother and father.
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
What, is the fire meeting on Wednesday night? Is
Yeah.
that a meeting or is that a training?
Well, coming up,
Yeah.
it'll be medical training this
Okay.
Wednesday, truck check last
When's your
Wednesday.
next fire meeting?
It will be the 4th to, Wednesday of
Fourth
the month.
Wednesday, okay. Is that, refresh my memory, is that typical?
What's that?
Fourth Wednesday of the month for the fire
Yeah.
meeting? Okay.
Yep, first Wednesday is truck check, second Wednesday is medical, third Wednesday is fire training, fourth one is meeting, and then if there's a fifth one, we scrub toilets and clean up
Yeah.
around the shop.
Well, I just wanna get to the meeting, so,
Yeah.
thank you.
We have two other young men that are great, but they both have girlfriends in Warner, and they don't live with their mom anymore, and it's just.
Well, you need to tell them they can't see their girlfriends.
Then you'll have nobody.
I know.
Where's your management skills?
Well, I'm smart
If
enough,
you figure out how to do that, you let us all know.
I'm smart enough to know,
All you knew
John,
was good.
I'm smart enough to know where.
No, I'm
where they're
messing
gonna-
with you.
Where they're gonna, end up, so, yeah,
What's this, like we both said, all three of us said, getting people, decent people, to get them, then to get them to stay.
well,
If
it's
you get
not to get them to stay, it's to have a place for them to live in town.
Well,
I mean,
I
they
totally
all look
agree,
for a
yeah.
place to rent, and,
They just-
and I have another young man that's in the same boat, still lives at home. And I'm just, yeah, I don't wanna see it, but one of these days, it's,
down the road, yeah.
yeah, and, I mean, and they're all
It's funny,
awesome.
you don't reflect that, as we were just talking to somebody that's gonna be coming on our zoning board. And we do have a lot of
Just thinking the same thing,
it's
yeah.
a lot of stringent rules.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's, I always think to myself, God, you want a place for your kid to go.
Yeah,
And it's hard right now.
Yeah.
These poor guys.
Well, maybe as a town, we need to start looking at some
Yeah.
accommodating housing to keep young people.
Well,
that's-
and maybe sometimes accommodating more family oriented, I don't know if that's discriminating though.
You know,
But
this-
you know what I mean, where,
There's
you
always
know,
young
what,
families,
if
tax
there's,
incentives, yeah.
there's there, you know, you have this lot and you can subdivide
Yeah, I
it for
agree.
your kid instead,
you know, this
so.
young man that's, I mean, I remember watching Mom and Dad come home from the hospital because they lived across the street and having him in the basket
That's
to
right.
go inside and watched him grow up across the street, and then they moved across town, and, he went and did his his EMT stuff and did all that and went to work full-time on another department, and then he followed through with his fire 1, fire 2, and then he's done his paramedic and watched the young man grow up.
Yeah,
But
it's-
you can't. I
There's
told
lots
him-
of problems to the whole,
I told him he couldn't do
place,
it, and he,
did it?
but he's gotta. So anyways, that's my story on that end of town. We did put the forestry back in service, cause we take the tank and stuff out in the winter to put sand in the back, so if somebody needs a walk to be sanded when the ambulance goes out, or the medical call for the other ambulance. So that's all back in service, and we put the boat up into the dam garage up on the hill, so Phil and I went up Friday and brought that back, so that's all back and ready to go, and, any questions?
No, not for me.
Other than snow, we really haven't done anything other than me dealing with the posted signs and dealing with people wanting to travel posted signs, and some of them are real understanding, and then there's others that aren't so, but you get used to it after a while, but hopefully we don't get a lot of rain tomorrow. I'm gonna take the posted signs down on Wednesday. So we put them up on the 5th of March, so it's been a month. And I think things are drying up. We worked today on the Province Road and on the Mutton Road. Brought in some gravel and got them back into shape, so we'll be going around it if we don't get a lot of rain tomorrow, in the next week or so with the grader, and getting them tuned up for spring.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen I haven't seen the roads in such good shape this time of year for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, when you go down your road and your flings are around.
Well, he's been dumping, we've been dumping, 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch on the roads. What's that stuff you dumping?
Oh, gravel.
Allen Road, I only put 4 loads of dirt out during this mud season, one on the end of Allen Road and one on Manchester Drive and two on New London
But it
Drive.
packs in good, the road, the one you did.
Yeah, that's
on
three-quarter.
Mutual Road.
That's three-quarter,
Yeah.
and then on New London Drive, I did use 1.5 inches because the mud was deep. And then I did have one lady call the other day and said that the car was taking it real hard, her and her husband's car, and the big rocks, and I went down and it's 1.5 inch rocks. I didn't know if something worked up. So, we'll be down there towards the end of the week and get that.
Smoothing it out.
Smooth, well, I don't know how much.
But that's the
smoother it
most,
is.
that's the most constructive
It is,
material, that's
yeah.
what you're
Yeah, that's
supposed
what I'm
to
saying.
use, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think for whatever reason, it's been a weird
Yeah.
time because, you know, I'm not, you know, when you go down our road, sometimes you're like, oh, hang on, it's like a roller coaster.
Well, and you gotta go slow on it too.
Yeah.
I get the damage, but potential of, but nothing's perfect.
No, that's right, that's right, no,
No,
we've been
and-
very lucky this month.
And back in the day, when we were kids, you'd park your car beside the road and grab your mother's gallon of milk and you'd walk home 1.5 miles because it just didn't dry up.
Passable.
So,
Well, that's great.
so,
When will you start some of your projects that you have on the list, for, you know, some of the improvements we talked about?
I will get the roads straightened out and then while they dry out a little bit more, I'll probably go over and screen some winter sand for next winter to get that up. And then probably after, I don't usually start my projects until after the school bus stops, but where we're gonna be working on Lake Road, I don't think the school bus goes down around that loop. So it might get down there a little bit earlier to try to get some stuff done before they get the summer people in and out of there.
Do you have a chance to order road signs, or are you still taking an accountability of what you have before you order those?
I called
Got a new place.
the place in Bow, and I'll look up the name here in a second,
That does the signs?
that
Yeah,
does the signs,
road signs.
because I'm,
Cheaper.
yeah,
they're
They
a
do.
lot cheaper, and I'm sorry, but I haven't had good luck where we were going, without naming any names.
And I'm not being critical, I'm just asking.
Yeah, oh no, I set up an account down there the other day. Well, I had to do that through the business in Maine. So it's all,
but they do have good turnaround, we've used them a lot.
They're fast.
WorkSafe. They've got the cones, the delineators, the post, the T handles for the, and they make the street signs as well. So, I'm gonna,
Anyways, with GMI being sold out, is that messing up? Or is he gonna keep a lot of your, I mean, fuel's gonna screw it up a little bit with pavement, but with the buyout, will they, I know he sets a number for you for pavement, is.
yeah, I'm not sure about the pavement, but the gravel part of it, they're gonna honor for a short time, and then the new owners are gonna do whatever, so I don't know how this short time is.
Well, I was gonna say, what's
I-
short time mean, the
I-
season, or?
No, when I talked to Mr. Big the other day, he said it would be 45 days before they, really started, changing things.
Okay.
So can I make a recommendation to you? I'm a little concerned about across the street over here, with people going in there, taking pictures, tramping around the place and all that. I would ask you, and I don't know how the other board members feel, I'm gonna throw it out there, that we put a sign up there that says no trespassing without authorization, because I think anybody that goes on that site over there should be with you, and you should be in control of who goes on that site. And we're going through, obviously, all the politics with that and where it's going, but I think we're creating a liability for the community when people go in there and have no control, have no fault of yours, who's going in there and taking pictures, and I think you're the road agent, you're the guy in charge of that piece of property, as the town owns it, right?
Yes.
So, I think a sign up there, you know, just no trespassing without authorization.
I am good with that, John, but what are you gonna do when the canoe race comes to town in 2 weekends?
That's the whole, well. is
No,
that
no,
what
no, no,
is-
I'm
No, that's
just-
a good point, you tell
They've
me.
been here for years, and I I'll do,
Do they
Well,
go
where are
in
you
there?
talking though? I thought you were
Go in?
talking the salt shed.
Salt
Yeah.
shed, just go in
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
why they go, why, do they park there or something?
well,
There's water.
they come down the river and then they get in, they start there to go down to the school.
Oh,
So that's, they
Kinda like-
walk up the river, they go down beside of the building.
Yeah.
Walk up the river, and then go down through, and I mean, I'm good with it, putting a sign up, it won't hurt my feelings
I
at
just think
all.
there's too many people in there poking around the building, that everybody claims to be unsafe, and I get it, I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
But I mean, you know, I think there needs to be some control of who's going in there, and you're not throwing it on your back, but you're the guy responsible.
Yeah, and these folks can keep
Right,
an
and
eye
they should
on
be
it.
checking in with you or Dana calling you and say somebody wants to take some pictures. That way we know what's going on,
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
and with the canoe putt people, they'll, you know, you can give them authorization at the time.
Point made, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You give them the
I think
authorization
he's
to
just
do it.
trying to say, hey.
That's a
not
whole
every-
different agenda.
Tom,
right, because there's a chain right there already, all they gotta do is put it up and
Well,
hook
I'm
it.
just,
But they're gonna walk around it.
Yeah, but,
it's one of those things when you're sitting having a cup of coffee on a Sunday morning and you're saying, somebody needs to be in control of this.
Yeah.
You're the guy that's in charge
yeah,
of it, so.
yeah, no, and I appreciate you.
Personally, I wouldn't go in there poking around without asking, so,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no, you guys are the boss.
If
At the
that's
end of the day.
agreeable with you, I
No.
mean.
Hey, it's all good with me.
well, I mean, in some senses, if you have that sign too, I mean,
Right.
granted, this is a full-time job, Steve, so don't worry. But, but it kinda just says, hey, you know, don't let your
be
kids
going
play in the
down
snow
in there.
pile.
Yeah.
That's kinda the way I would
Yeah.
look
Well,
at it.
if it's so hazardous, why are we letting people go in there and then they turn, somebody gets hurt,
Yeah, yeah.
with me here, somebody gets hurt, turns around and says, well, you know, and then why didn't you post it knowing it was so hazardous, right? You know,
Dave, you have a question?
I would just say on that topic that simply having a sign or something that says authorized personnel only, and you can
That's good too.
temporarily authorize
Yep.
the canoe racers not next to the building. And they will, you know, tell each other, they will tell the organization that and announce it.
Communication.
But having that is a good liability coverage for, yeah, you're not supposed to be there, so of course, if you started ripping pieces off of the back of it and it fell on you, it's your own fault, sort of thing. A second question, if I may, on road stuff.
I think one was the limit.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
I know that we've been in mud season and stuff, so obviously this is not a critique of that it should have been done, but what is the typical time frame for when you expect to start looking at filling up potholes and larger cracks and stuff have definitely shown up thanks to the frost heaves and similar?
Well, I worked on that for 3 hours Saturday morning, so I did start in on that. And then one day last week, I have to look back in my book.
So it's
but-
starting and ongoing?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I sent Emery to Hooksett 2-3 weeks ago and brought us back a load of patch, so it's all good, sticky and fresh. So,
Perfect.
yeah, no, that's in the workings, so, we did get started on that.
And will that be part of your maintaining of, I mean, that's why I kinda said when your project, and I get it, you wanna get your roads in shape and then start a project with the buses. Will that be part of getting in shape, is filling in the potholes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
I
I've
know
got a lot
sometimes
of them.
it's-
The
yeah.
other day, I got a text from a lady, pothole control, Deer Meadow Road, number 62, you know, so Saturday morning I put one on and it was a gouger.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a whole skid steer bucket full out, just right in that area.
Perfect. Awesome.
And then I noticed coming back through, from Dingett's Corner down through to, the new bridge,
Yeah, it's
needed
getting
some
pretty bad
love.
in a couple spots.
Needed some love there. But, back in the day, we could use a 10-wheeler load in 2 days, but we've got most of them problems taken care of, like the Dustin Road and down in front of Addie's, and, a lot of them roads now are new, so we don't do as much coal patching as we used to have to in the old days, so. Yeah, there's some shoulders that got dug down in the winter that's gotta get leveled back up so the little cars go around and then the Mutton Road this spring was probably the worst of my mud. That's been a few years since it's been ditched. It doesn't need to be ditched horrible, but the water's just laying in the ditches, it can't go anywhere, and the leaves and stuff. And where that's a scenic road, I have to ask you folks to have a public hearing before I can do that quality of work on the road, because I can't do anything on a scenic road.
No ditching.
Not without.
I know tree removal, but no ditching.
I'm pretty sure back, a few years back,
You have to have a public
the
hearing.
select board,
Did you?
the select board,
Well, it
no, the
depends.
folks they didn't want any ditches.
Oh,
and
I'm
they
aware
didn't
of the whole history.
Want a bunch of stuff,
I'd
so
have to read
the
it.
select board, and maybe Dave,
Law.
I don't know if this was the 6 years before
Mostly
Dave.
trees.
I thought it was
I know it's
trees.
trees, yeah, but I don't remember.
Right, you
ditching.
can't cut a tree any bigger than a coffee can breast high. But
Can
do
we kinda
you?
look into that to
Yes,
see
we
what,
Let's
yeah, yeah.
qualify what, I mean, for his benefit.
We have to read the law.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
no,
gotta-
well, and then that some people, I just wanna do it right. I remember the select board asking me at the time, before I did any more than just general
Yeah.
maintenance,
Oh, we certainly can look it up.
above
you know.
that, and
Yeah,
I
You
just,
wanna do it right, you don't wanna have to,
well, I wanna honor,
right.
I made an agreement with them. I know one board doesn't hold the other, but, it doesn't have to, but I just wanna be,
Right.
But you're not changing the contour of the road other than just ditching what you already have there to open that up and have the water flow. across.
Yes.
No trees are getting cut, that you know of.
well, not unless they're,
Like,
they
yeah.
can't
Well,
cut
no,
them.
no, I get it, but, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
logically,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
uh,
correct.
I think we need to be supportive of it, because
Yeah,
look at the problems you've had with it.
yeah.
Well, supportive and also, you know, instead of making him wait for a public hearing, well, granted, we'll
Right.
look it up, but I would suggest that, maybe a notice to let them know, you know, on the webpage or such, that we will be working on a scenic road and I will be doing ditching.
To make the road passable.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
so
what I would
I'm
personally.
gonna wait a while on that, so the ditches really dry up through there before I do the ditching.
Mm-hmm.
But I just figured if I put it in place now, and then come whatever's the end of May or June, and I had a couple of days to go up there, you folks, it was in the workings. So,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
oh, I realize that, but I do know when you make an agreement with somebody, I try to keep my best to keep.
That's
my-
fine, but let's see what the agreement definitely says, cause
See what the
I
law
don't,
is.
you know, we don't, look at, yes.
You know what?
Got it,
Right.
right?
Make it harder than you have to.
Right.
No, I know, but if I don't follow my part with what I agreed on, it can come back and bite me.
Well, we'll support you in what you need to do.
Okay, well, I
Thank you.
appreciate that, so, yeah. And hopefully the tire prices won't go crazy.
Is that one of the ones that has a bunch of boulders in the ditches too?
That were placed by a homeowner.
I think that and the trees are the two reasons that there were public hearing requirements because of removing and changing based on the boulders and trees. Normal maintenance should not require a public hearing, but depending on ditch expansion or whatever, someone could make an argument. So maybe as a precaution, it was just, well, we'll just do it every time. I'm trying to remember it, but
I just remember trees, but
I'm
you could be right.
very hazy on it.
I remember the night I was there, I remember you going through it, it was trees.
Yeah.
You gotta do ditching, you gotta do ditching.
We'll take a ride up now and see the trees and look at all the
Fairly
bark
certain
mulch
it's
that's
just
piled
trees.
around the trees, and the ditch is
No,
gone.
You're probably right.
Women?
Huh?
I hear you.
Yeah,
All right, the fun, we figured out that will
So-
happen, we need fun.
I guess, other than, what am I forgetting? Nothing, I didn't have anything else, because we haven't, it's just a plowed snow. posted roads, and that's over.
How is the increase in diesel going to affect your budget, do you think?
We'll see how high it goes.
I mean, it's reality, so.
Yeah.
Well, we get, the town gets, they have it
Yeah.
set,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
then we take over after that,
Right.
yeah.
That,
so.
but the fuel,
I'm just asking.
the fuel
Grease, oils.
with the oil for the tar, and I have
I think
to
that's what
order,
I'm most
I
worried
have
about.
to,
Yeah,
I gotta order culverts by the 15th of this month, because they're gonna go sky high. So for my projects and the culverts that I need, I've gotta order them before the 15th, because I called the other day to see what was gonna happen, and he said, good thing you called them, because he said, yeah, everything with oil, tires. But we'll hope for the best.
all right. Any other questions?
Please order that sign.
Yeah, no, I'll get that taken care of this week.
No, I know you will, I just, you worded how you want to word it. You, David had a good point. What was your word?
Authorized
Awesome,
personnel.
yeah.
Yeah, authorized personnel only, I mean, you know.
I might even have one of them hanging inside the shed, and there might be one hanging on the chain.
I just don't want,
Yeah,
I just don't
I
want.
understand.
Personally, I don't know how
Yeah.
my board
No, I
colleagues
think
feel.
it's a very.
I just
Now-
don't want poking without you involved.
Now,
Anti-liability. I
now
appreciate
while
that
we're
so
talking about putting one up there, can I put one of them, the same sign up down to my other pit? Or not my
Yeah.
pit, but our pit?
You're the boss.
Well,
No, agreed, it's the same idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Same
Boss,
idea, you don't
yeah.
need somebody out there,
well,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
okay.
You don't want
And I
somebody,
like, it.
yeah.
we'll just get a couple of them, put
Yeah.
that
You
there.
want
Okay.
somebody in
No.
their target practice and without your
Dustin,
permission
put one on
saying,
Dustin Road.
Put one on Dustin Road too, because we'll be down there working.
Have people going in and out of there all the time, so that'd be good to put one there, no unauthorized personnel.
Okay. And then that, okay.
I mean, there's 3 or 4 reasons, but, you know.
Oh, I
If
understand.
if I was gonna go in there and start taking pictures, I'd be in touch with Dana, or I'd be in touch with you. I mean, that's the way it operates as a citizen.
Sure.
you know? And I have no problem with that, but, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know what's dangerous and what isn't.
Perfect, all right, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yes, one more
One thing to
thing,
bring up, you started talking about the canoe race. Now, the park,
when is that?
it's,
April 25th.
16th, 17th.
yeah,
Kayak thing, you mean?
Yeah.
yeah, the kayak race is gonna be.
Is it the
So-
15th, 16th, and 17th?
25th,
Oh.
25th and 6th.
Pearson Park says town residents only. Now, they camp down in there, and none of those people are town residents. Do you have any kind of a ordinance for them, or any paperwork that they fill out to camp down there? Because they camp there for 3 or 4 days.
I've never heard that we do.
Yeah.
Where's
neither
Pearson
have I.
Park? I mean, which one
That's
is
over
it?
near the
Right,
river.
right
Yeah,
here.
right,
Yeah.
out behind the baseball fields.
It goes out behind the baseball
Who owns the
field.
land?
The town.
Town.
It's all town
Well,
property.
there's funding right there we should be getting.
Well, I think we should,
No, I know, I mean, let's,
Did you know
let's,
say?
let's, you know, why do we allow this stuff to
they,
happen?
they need to sign a waiver if anything else. 'cause
Well, that
if
too,
somebody
you
gets-
make, you make
That
a
was my
good point.
concern, if somebody gets
Yeah.
hurt down in there.
$50 a camp
Then,
spot. Can we, I mean, that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, but
And I put a
Who picks up
minimum
the
of
trash?
2
You
to
have
3
to go
days,
down
no
there?
more than that.
no, Brenda always was the park person. I don't
Yeah,
know who
she took care of it.
who took it over now.
We're still in the middle of that, yeah.
So-
This,
But it's like it was brought to my attention, and
Why
of
not?
course I just, whatever, it's all right for somebody from out of town to come camp in Webster, and I can't go down there on the Saturday
Well, that's
afterwards
my
and
point.
camp?
You and I are talking the same turkey on this, okay? My point is, why are we, they go down to the campground down here, they're gonna get charged.
Yep,
Why are we allowing this, and somebody has to clean it up? Because I can guarantee you, they're not gonna clean it all up.
They,
they do a really
All right,
good job.
well, if they do.
Sonny
I've
Sonny
never
Hunt,
seen anything.
Sonny Hunt, him, I know him to say hi to, I knew he's lived in town forever, or he used to, and his father and mother and all that. And he's in charge of that, and then George Cummins?
Yep, George Cummins.
Does something with them, and they've been coming to town for since I've been
Well,
a kid.
we're public now, and I'm sure somebody's upset with me saying we should be charging, but I think we should be charging a fee. I said $50, I threw that up, but I'm just saying that, what would they get charged in the campground to stay overnight, a reasonable campground? And why aren't we doing that by permit? They come in here, they sign something.
Thing is, at the campground, they get all kinds of amenities too, and they don't have anything.
Well,
The river.
That'd be it.
they have the river in the event.
And you pay to be on, sometimes,
it's
you go to a
cold.
campground and you pay to be on a
Do
river.
we assign a detail?
Sometimes you don't have water.
Do we assign the details of this event, chief?
We don't, we just keep watching, keep an eye on it.
Does the
They
ambulance
try
have to go down there, and is that?
We went down once.
That was a while ago.
We went down once for somebody that, I don't know if they got bit by a hornet or something, but no, they pretty much,
I mean, do they have EMS people on site, or?
Not that I know of.
no.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know a lot about the event. I know it happens every year, but I
Yeah.
don't know much about it.
But I think, you know, I mean, you brought it up, so it's obviously a concern,
Well,
so we need to make a decision about.
there's a lot of people, extra people in town.
There's a
and
lot
it's
of people
water
there,
and-
and they're in the water, and, there's
The-
usually maybe 3, sometimes 4 people at camp, 1 or 2 days. If nothing else, get their names and addresses so we know who it is that's down
Well,
there.
why don't we do this? Why don't we not do a fee this year? But why don't we require them to at least come in and fill out some paperwork that they're,
I think that's what he's saying.
Well,
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
I make
that they sign a
sure-
waiver.
when they started, when Dana took over that, they had their liability insurance in place, and they did bring that, Sonny's
did,
daughter
yeah.
brought that to you, correct?
Yes, yeah. And I can talk to Sonny
Yeah.
about people that are gonna camp down there.
Yeah.
They need to let us know, and we'll come up with a form.
Who's there?
what do you want, a waiver, chief? Is that what you're
I say
asking?
a waiver, and so that we know who's there too, who's staying overnight.
Can we get some?
Should we do find
Yeah, no,
trash down there, we know who to go back
Yeah.
onto.
I agree, at this point in time, yes, and then we'll
But
study it.
I never heard
It is kinda
Brenda,
hard though, when you think about what you just said about the fact that they come out in and they camp there, and would you allow a town resident to
Yeah.
camp there?
Well, that's, see,
Technically,
that's another,
Just some of those things that doesn't look quite fair.
that's another conflict.
but they
though.
have, I mean, it's been.
But we also don't, I mean, traditions are so awesome, and
Right.
again, small town traditions are what somewhat makes
Right.
it
No,
unique, you know?
In the spirit of the tradition, I
Yeah.
was a little confused on where you were going with it, because I'm immediately looking at the dollar sign, which it should be, but I think this year, let's have some further discussion.
I could also see something to the effect of, they come in to have their canoe race, some kind of just fee for the canoe race. Do you know what I mean? So that it helps cover ambulance and such, but.
Yeah, but back in the day, if I remember right, that lady there could probably help me, but didn't the church, didn't they put on a big breakfast and they?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, they have at least one breakfast and usually a heavy pasta meal for that group.
But that's not town income, that's.
Yeah,
No, but it helps the church or.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
At the time, that's all, I was just,
but if
Yeah.
you have a drowning down there, that's gonna be a 2 or 3 day event with all of you involved in it. And, you know what I'm saying, I mean, I'm sorry to be so real, but, you know, it is what it is.
No,
Somebody
well-
gets swept down the river,
Yeah.
it's gonna take a lot of manpower to try and find it, and,
and you might
But
not.
yeah, that's right.
So do we need to make a motion on at least the permit?
Dave
or
needs to be recognized, he's,
No.
I know, I saw him, thank you. I'm letting everybody finish,
Yeah.
and then I was gonna let Dave,
Yeah.
go ahead, Dave.
They are a very well-organized group. I know they ask for volunteers to stand in the river in different spots, you know,
Oh, they-
as
yeah.
monitors. They are extremely, I mean, this
Safe.
isn't the only place they come and have a race.
Oh, they go all over
They
the-
go all over.
the United-
So
they
it's
go-
not just a haphazard group.
No, I get all that.
They're very organized.
They're
And like I
professionals.
said, we need to cover liabilities and whatever, but I mean, it's.
But in support of what you're saying, a conference with the chief and the fire chief.
Absolutely.
And the town administrator, so that people know what's going on, and if there is an emergency, we know who's who. And I
Yeah.
don't see that communication existing, to be true. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be
No,
blunt.
no, liabilities need to be covered.
Sorry, Dave.
Go ahead, Dave.
That's fine. That was gonna be my main point, is that the key that really needs to be taken care of is the liabilities. And it's one thing if they, as an event organizer, has liability insurance for the event and running the event, and so that takes care of that piece. Camping is probably not part of that piece of their liability insurance, and we don't have a campground, so we don't cover liability or carry liability for that either. And so either there needs to be something done either to not allow for camping, or to turn it into a campground with appropriate liabilities, or to address that point, which is the liability portion. As far as the other things, I'm pretty sure they always make sure they have somebody, they have first aid on staff, but not necessarily EMS, or I say on staff, but like working the event. The thing that may be reasonable is if we're dealing with, well, we think we have to worry about costs and things that we may incur, rather than necessarily charging for the event as a whole. I know we usually end up with a cop down there when they're first coming in, because there's a lot of traffic. Maybe we just tell them, hey, you really have to pay for a detail for the first 3-4 hours while everybody's coming in and when everybody's going out. And that then brings it extra revenue into the town, but is not a like onerous sort of thing. It's a size of event.
It kind of goes along with what I said, which is that, you know, a base fee, you know, figure out what some of the costs from what we require, you know, to have
But
it.
the main thing is make sure that however you look at it, you take care of liability.
And you're right, but I think situationally, if there's an event, that person that you mentioned, whoever the first aid, safety, should be checking in with Emmett, should be checking in with the chief. Hi, I'm John Clark, this is what I do. Because I don't think you gentlemen have ever had somebody come to you and tell you that's me.
Nobody.
No, well, that's my point. You get to a scenario and it's senior asking 25 people, who's who? And you guys need to know who's who so you can go to who's who.
And contact info.
Point made, yeah, no, I agree with you.
So do we have to make any kind of motion to say that we would like this event to be in contact with our safety facility?
I don't
And
think so.
maybe
I think we-
sign, I mean, I don't know that it's not a bad idea for if there's somebody's going to be there longer than the event itself.
I mean, the waiver, which is a good idea, however, I don't hold a lot of stock in how much water those hold. And I think that if one danger that we may have, if you, before, we didn't know anyone's down there, so if there had been an incident for insurance, I think the insurance company would say, well, they didn't know, so, you know, it's kind of like a highway type of problem. Now, if we know someone's down there, now we have the liability.
Because we know it.
And, but, I agree that it's a catch-22, but I agree that you,
We've got a liability in that out, but I agree with you.
yeah.
We know, so it's nobody's fault.
As long as they supply us with liability insurance, that covers a huge majority of it.
You mean the
Canoe people.
Coordinators.
The event.
the,
Sonny-
whatever it is, canoe
Sonny's
company
group.
or whatever,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm gonna make
They
a
do.
motion. I'm gonna make a motion. Who runs the event? Who's-
Sunny Hunt.
Sunny Hunt.
Okay. Sunny Hunt, work in collaboration with the police department and fire department, so that if a situation arises, the appropriate contact people are identified that, who are part of the event, so police can operate either security or safety response operations appropriate.
I second that.
Somebody wants to tailor that, they can.
Right, but on top of that is, we'll be the first ones there, but if it has anything to do with water, then it's all fishing game.
Well, but you're gonna be the first ones there. You're gonna be the contact, you're gonna be in control of the
Correct, yeah.
situation, and
Fishing game.
Triage.
we get that, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a reasonable, chief, does that sound like a
Yeah,
reasonable?
and I'm gonna contact Fishing Game so they can keep abreast of what's going on. They know that it's going on anyway, but I'll even see if they can't supply somebody to come up and do safety checks
Yeah.
that they do or whatever.
That's nice. It's been a little liaison affair, okay?
Do we think Sunny, like, has done a lot of this stuff and we're just not aware of it?
Oh, he's done a lot of it.
No, I mean, like liability insurance and done a lot of this stuff, like, do you
could
think
be.
maybe this stuff's in place
It
already?
could be.
Oh, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
He's supposed
But
to
the
have a
contact, the
certificate of insurance.
Oh, he does, but I'm just
Communication
answering.
hasn't been
Oh,
there. You
okay.
guys
Yeah,
haven't,
yeah,
you guys haven't talked to personally about this woman who's a paramedic or an EM, you know what I'm trying to say? I mean, you get there, you're looking around like, who do I go to? You know what I'm saying? Does that sound reasonable to you?
Yes, yes. So you second it, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
let's see, well, so,
Correspondence.
new business correspondence.
The auditing firm is going to be doing,
Thanks,
a
guys.
special audit
Thank you.
because we have over $700,000 in income from the grid.
Oh, yes.
And so we need to have a special audit, which is why the audit, budget went up so much this year. So, Marlo, I need you to sign a new letter. This is a letter of engagement. I would love to read this to you, but I have read it. It's a normal letter.
They're gonna come in and they're gonna look at your books and they put a lot of words to it.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you could sign, someone that I know started to sign it on the wrong side.
Oh,
You're the governor.
yeah, never done that before.
Suddenly I didn't know my place, I guess.
Well,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Plaza Sanderson is, that's the
That's our
firm,
auditor.
that's our auditors, but are they also, do they also represent, like, are they also our attorney?
No.
Or- no, okay, alright.
No.
Oh, no, that's right, I'm sorry,
And-
they're CPAs.
And we just had the auditors here last week, so they're, for the regular audit. The next thing is a letter that we got from, a resident who is asking if the penalty that was assessed because she didn't get her inventory on time could be reversed. And she says that she mailed it, but apparently we never got it.
But isn't it due the 15th?
So this is last year.
Oh, okay.
This is last year, and, I will say the board, to my knowledge, has not ever,
Right,
reversed the charge.
I think they've
Correct.
only reversed it once, and that was because
But I'm obligated to ask,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, do you need a motion or anything on that?
So I'm assuming that you're telling me no. Okay. We have a
Good
letter.
try.
We have a letter, oh, this one's addressed to Ben, for some reason, I don't know if you, the rest of you got it, but it's from the New Hampshire DOT. I'll look at mine. They're putting in a culvert on Battle Street, and they're asking some questions if we know, how it affects the area, so forth. It's gonna be near Roby Road.
Where's Roby Road?
Roby Road is where the feed store is, you know, when you go down the dip.
Well, that's a very, that's,
Should grab
that's,
Emmett, he's
that's,
still here.
That's good though.
I'm sorry?
Should grab Emmett, he's still here.
Yeah,
Well, it's
once you
just-
grab
it's-
it,
Well, we've
it's
done
state,
with
it's
that.
state, we don't need, no, Dave, it's state, it's state.
It's
If they were
the,
wanting to
He
do
knows,
something.
yeah, I've talked to him
Yeah,
about
it's,
Okay.
it, yeah.
it's pretty much where, you know,
Yeah.
where the dip
yeah,
comes.
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
they're replacing the culvert there, which I don't know why we would argue with them if they wanna.
No,
Well, they
Replace a
wanna know
culvert.
if there's any cultural resources of significance. and-
I would not know that answer.
you seem to get the fire swatter up here, Jim.
so it's not in the house.
Well, it's that time of year.
The only thing that would affect is it's a very
Yeah.
dangerous place to be working.
Right, especially when I come over
that's a
there.
tough,
I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna have to slow down. Risky. And Emmett didn't say anything that there was any, I mean, I don't think there's really any stone walls there that I can think of. But there again, when, it's nice that they let us know, but it's
You're going around?
also a good thing they're replacing that culvert, cause,
Well, culverts have to be replaced once in a
Yeah.
while, I
Yeah.
suppose. But, and I'll talk to him about it a little bit, but I'll talk more.
just make sure that there wasn't something that he was.
And they know him, they'll.
Sure, they probably already called him.
I think so. Okay.
Surprised they're not coming in like the stop signs. That guy was a salesman.
He was, yeah, he was.
And
He was selling his signs.
we did receive a, notice of a public hearing from the town of Windsor.
Oh.
Do you know where that is?
Yeah, I do, as a matter of fact. We work in Windsor, I have a relative in Windsor.
Really? Well,
Yes.
that was a
Windsor, Vermont.
survey error, that's how that town got
Oh,
formed. And, they're having a cell tower hearing. And so from somewhere in Webster, you must be able to see it.
no.
That's April 21st at the Windsor Town Hall.
For some reason, I'm thinking it might be WW. Isn't that interesting?
And that's all I have for correspondence.
Okay, great. Does anybody have any public comment? All right, let's see. So approval of the draft minutes, I think John will be back shortly. Any issue with them? I didn't see anything.
I didn't have.
I'm gonna wait for John just to come back.
Okay.
Just wanna make sure I have both of them in there.
Yeah.
Maybe I have a public comment.
Sure.
If I can. I'm kind of new to being responsible for the trust funds, you know, being the chair. And I really had to kind of get up to speed with Paul's passing. And I've kind of really seen that it's important that everybody in the town works together. You know, that, like, we know what's going on in each other's groups. And one of the reasons I'm saying that is because I'm kind of all for getting more interest on our trust funds. And I realize that the SIP is very important, you know, for being able to know what funds, you know, are kind of sitting there and not gonna be used, so that we could probably get better interest rates and things like that. And I just wanted to kind of, I wanted to know if there's some kind of guidance of who do you talk to about all these things? I mean, a coordination of the different groups that, so that you kind of know what's going on with each other, just so that, like, I know I need to kind of talk to the fire department to see what, but that might be in the SIP, but I don't even know really what the SIP is. So I'm just kind of asking and reaching out for, you know, I've read the handbook of, you know, municipalities and for the rules and regulations for what do trustees do, what do the cemeteries trustees, what do everybody do. But I just kind of want to see how if there's a way of pulling it together in my mind, or for other people, so that we can work better together as a town group, so that, you know, like I can know who to talk to, or if it's okay to talk to. You know, I don't want to kind of go in the wrong direction, but I also, and I don't want to overstep, but I want to ask guidance, like of you guys, or if I should want to, and I plan to go to different banks and do stuff like that, but I'm just kind of grasping and pulling everything together, and I was kind of looking for some guidance for that. There is some regulation
If
on
I
what you
could-
can and can't invest.
Yeah,
I
she's
know
got that.
Okay.
I just wanna kind of know how the SIP works, basically, I think, and
I'm not sure what you mean by SIP.
CIP.
The CIP.
Oh, the CIP,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
There's issues like, we've talked about it, there's issues like the fire truck. That's a huge chunk of money, and if Emmett can give kind of an estimate when that's gonna be used, nothing ever comes out of it until it's time for a new fire truck. So why should that be at a $1.2 2 interest when it could be at a 2.5 or 3 for a CD for 2 years versus just sitting there. It's not like other trust funds where you're gonna go in and pull out money. You know it's gonna sit there, and there's a opportunity to get a lot
The
better
advantage you
interest.
have with what you're doing now is you're able to break those CDs without a charge.
That's, yeah, that was
And-
without penalty, right?
And that's,
Yeah.
and that is, if the select board decide to motion to take money out of a certain fund, you're able to do it. Now, you may be able to do that with another bank. Obviously, it has to be a New Hampshire bank.
Yep.
Right,
And, or you can use the New Hampshire investment pool, which I don't know what the
You
interest rate
said-
is right now. Not very much, I don't think.
no,
Yeah.
because, I think also they use foreign investors and they're not FDIC, so we can't.
And that's why
That's
a
the
lot
thing.
of your accounts now are the ICS accounts that they sweep. And we had to deal with that
But
with the
they're,
town
they're very
because,
low interest.
yeah.
And so that's why I'm just kind of, I've done a lot of exploring and everything, but just in 5 months, we got $10,000 more, $11,000
Well, you
more
were,
than
you
what-
were very much proactive and got more interest and
Right.
that was really a good thing.
But that's good, but that's
But-
still not enough.
But
because-
so if you were to able to work a deal with the bank, I don't see that really the town could help.
But I just think that if I know what accounts were, like I know the trust fund accounts are available to invest in a long-term, because they are interest only, period. They never can be pulled out of. So-
You mean the cemetery?
Cemetery trust,
Yeah,
yeah. So that could, if I could find a 5 or a 6, why not shove it in there?
Yeah, let
But
me
we
know where it
have
is, yeah.
more stuff.
Me
We've
too.
got like almost $900,000 that just is getting 0.45. And I just say, if I just need to know, I'd like to have like some support, some input from people who are using these funds or whatever, like, so that I know what funds are available
Available.
to put at a locked-in, 2-year rate, lock it in.
Go ahead, Dave.
So, a few things here, and sorry to dive a little bit into the weeds, but things like a CD have a bunch of extra limitations on them, but also will give you usually fairly similar to high yield savings account sort of rates. None of those really exist at municipal scale. So there is a investment policy that the town has that gets looked at periodically every year and governs how and when and where those sorts of funds can be invested. And of course, none of that can be speculative in stock market or anything like that. The second thing I'll state is that being part of the board of directors of another organization that's fairly public facing and has to have constant access to cash and capital, the sweep style accounts that are being used there, and that's the Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire, the rates that we are getting from sweep accounts are really, really similar to high yield savings account rates. And that would account for the much higher rate without changing risk profiles. And so you should see what that rate is from our current bank, what other banks that are appropriate may be able to give to that. And that's probably an easy road to go down. But as far as trying to time something and whether we can or can't or have to break a CD in order to write a check if a current failure happens with fire apparatus instead of when we planned to replace it, those all become intricacies that are usually specifically avoided and prohibited within municipalities. So make sure you look into the
Right.
policy, and then if you want to change the policy, that's where to have that discussion.
Right, that's the kind of thing I really wanna hear.
Have you looked at money markets with the banks?
No,
Because that's a better interest.
right.
The difference with the money markets is it kind of works similar to a checking account, except you're only allowed X amount of withdrawals on a regular basis. So you can keep it there and earn more interest than your regular savings. It's still liquid,
Right,
and if you need it, you can write X amount of checks, say 3 checks a month, something like that.
the other thing is that we have 3 trustees, so that gives us only 750,000 of FDIC, because we get 250,000 per trustee. And we have almost $2 million. So we're not FDIC covered anyway.
Well, you are by the ICS.
Yes.
Well, for those accounts, but it's still, we still don't come up to.
Well, if you took the ICS accounts, or what should happen, if you subtracted the balance of those accounts, you should have under 750 in all the remaining accounts. Okay, well then,
That's.
you need to
this is
open
why
another ICS then, yeah.
Talk about this.
Well, this,
The auditors are gonna tell you that though, because they just audited
Yeah.
the books, and that's one of the things they look at.
Okay,
But I've got the policies for the trustees' investment policy that you might be interested in.
yeah, that was the other thing, is that, I don't know if it'll slip through, but the, investment policy was not done last year.
Well, it was done 2 weeks ago.
Oh, well, for the audit, it wasn't
Yeah.
done.
Right.
So I'm glad it,
Are you mean the trustees' investment policy?
the investment
Oh,
policy,
okay,
yes.
then,
The
I'm
trustees'
sorry, it's the
investment-
town's one that was just
Well,
done.
the trustees' investment policy wasn't done last year at all.
Okay, so
And
then
it's
maybe
supposed
you
to be
would
done
need
in
to
April,
do
and I don't
that.
know who does that, or, you
It's the
know.
trustees that would do it, but I'll help you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, great.
So I guess what I would suggest is, as he's guiding your questions, you know, of course, keep us up to date, but it's kind of in the hands of you guys that are dealing with it. So maybe, Dana, what you can do is, you know, when we meet again, kind of bring us up to date with some of what she's asking, and then that way we can be aware and,
Right.
and if.
I
But do
guess
you
something
know
else I'd
if
like
it-
to say is that it would be great to get great interest, but towns are not in the business
No,
to make money,
right,
you know, but I think that you're on the right track. But I just,
this is a very comprehensive report, and I'm not gonna dig into the weeds with it tonight, but it's a comprehensive report. What I'd also suggest is, I appreciate your comments, but I think what is important is to have the other 2 members on board with you at some point.
that's what we're gonna do, is present.
Right, but and here's what I'd suggest. In the very near future, work with Dana, but in the very near future, sit with us as a board, so we have a better understanding, and some of these policies and procedures that aren't done need to get done. So that's what it says in it, okay? So, I mean, I think maybe a work session, because I'd like to know more about some of this too. Some of it concerns me, to be truthful, to the security aspect of it, meaning who makes the deposits, what deposits get made. If you're making deposits, you should have a witness with you when you go and do that type of thing. Working with specific banks, what are the banks? And Dave makes some good points in that communities aren't in it to make money, you know what I'm saying? Although if there's places where we can, that's a positive point too. But I think to have a work meeting, but it work with Dana, because Dana's experience, but bring us to a point where we can go through this with you, be supportive of this, and say, okay, this is what we need to do, or we need to recommend, or Dana needs to work with you to do. But you got 2 other members on the committee, and I'd like to see them sitting here with you.
I didn't mean to make this a.
No, I'm not,
Right.
I'm being very generic. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not giving you direction. This is a comprehensive report. I like this report. I'm a report guy. I like this report.
That's a draft. And
Well, it's a good
not
draft.
draft, but I will get the
I thought it was a report.
final to you.
But it's
Would
a
you
good
get me
draft,
a
yeah.
copy too, please?
Oh, you all will get them as
Okay.
soon as it's not,
Take mine.
as soon as it's published.
All right.
I'll
Well,
be
thank
glad
you.
to see it come out.
Support it.
I wanna see how it ends.
The you get a copy of the quarterly minutes. You get a copy of the quarterly minutes in the reconciliation,
Yes,
always,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, they're stored here because we're supposed to have them. It's
Yeah,
actually the
you
clerk's
get
office
them.
that's responsible for those.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so approval of the draft meeting minutes. Does anybody have anything to add? Wait
No,
for you to
I-
come back.
No, no.
Went through it, looked good to me.
Yeah.
So, somebody wanna make a motion to accept the minute?
I probably should make a motion to accept the ones from December since I was
No.
not here.
All right, let me make a motion. Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept both copies and look for a second.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The
Gee,
29th, May.
without Dave on the thing, we got away with that really easy.
Again, you're never gonna find
We
spelling.
can always put Dave in the back corner to spell check it and have him tell us how it
I'm sorry, I couldn't help say.
All right,
I have some
see,
things.
signing
for you
of
to
documents
sign.
and motions of payments.
Those are two intent to cuts that need to be approved, and Russ has done his magic with them.
Well, some of them are no
goes. What's the date
cuts.
today?
Even better.
It
Well, there
is
were no
the
cuts
6th.
last year, they're
It's the 6th, yeah.
putting them forward again for this year. I think it's the same for both of them.
Did you want to explain this abatement?
The camper was registered, but it got billed anyway. That was another one where the assessors didn't take the fee off. And the person got a lien notice and went, oh crap, and then came in and
Straighten it out.
straightened it out.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so they may not been able to get to it. So, for this year.
I will have, if we've got a couple minutes, some concerns and questions about code.
Okay.
These are some Visa bills I paid. And postage.
Any-
Excuse me. We gotta have a better
Yeah,
rotation.
No, we're doing fine. Yeah.
It's called the paper chase.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it?
Wow.
All right, well, I guess we can, everybody all set? Any other questions or concerns? Otherwise, we can adjourn the
Did we
meeting.
wanna do, John wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I just,
sorry,
I
John.
just, no, I'll make
Do
it
we
very
wanna do
quick.
it as a non-public or?
Yeah, let's do it as non-public. I don't want,
So that means, somebody will have to tell me what that wording, because
Public
even though I've
and
listened to it for 4
reputation.
years, I didn't know.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So we're adjourning the public meeting,
Mhm.
but we're gonna go into, we're gonna go into a non-public
yeah.
At
Ah.
8:23
at 8:23
for reputation.
for reputation.
Yeah.
Thank you, David, for your comments.
Are you willing to hear me?
All right.
Is it one where my historical context will be helpful, or shall I leave?
You're always helpful, Dave, so I don't wanna say you won't, but I don't
Well, I'm
think you need
asking
to
the people
stay.
who-
Yeah, I don't think we need to waste, you know,
No.
but we're pretty, the one we gotta deal with.
Sorry?
The one, what we have to talk about here, probably. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.